It is intense, physically challenging, cutthroat contact sport that requires a muscular power and agility and mutual respect for others. And thus the sport that Benjamin Otieno Ayimba chose to rise from an amateur player to a more successful coach in rugby football.
Rugby has been everything to me. I think the person that Benjamin Ayimba has become, the tolerance, the being able to make decisions, the leadership, that all that has been rugby. And for me, it's played the biggest role in my life. I started traveling as a rugby player when I was 19. So you can imagine, I've seen the whole world before age 40, and that was tremendous.
He got an early foothold of the game while growing up in Kibera, where he also learned the art of survival.
Growing up, I was a plum boy. I was the sort of guy who was not allowed to play with football with guys because I was going to be rough. I was a bit clumsy. That pushing me out of the norm, and then I would be quiet and keep to myself. Kibera was the best school that I ever went to in terms of life. It taught me to be humble, taught me to be a people's person, taught me to be a leader, taught me to make decisions. I was never exposed to a luxurious life outside my house or anything different. It never looked to me like I was lacking anything. I think Dad and my moms did very well to try and keep our heads level. My mom used to take me to exhibition matches in ASK show. I think I went with her twice, and she used to like the fact that big men are following each other, failing each other over balls. So that influenced me quite a bit. Pity that she never was there to watch me play because she feared that somebody was going to hurt me.
And it helped too that he schooled in Maseno, where he nurtured not only his sporting skills but leadership skills as well, just like his son Brian.
I walked into school a little after lunch, so by the time we were done and registration was done, it was time to see Mom off. It was games time, so I went to the rugby field. This day was the day the team was practicing for tackling. And I was put across a guy used to call Bunny. I've forgotten his official name, the fourth former. And he was opposite me, and he came hard at me. He gave me the hardest hit. It was quite painful. I said to myself, if for anything else, I'll stay in this game so that somebody can feel that pinch every time I tackle them. that's how I became. I stayed in rugby, so I don't think I've ever inflicted as much pain as it did to me on the day, but it's been effective enough to keep me until this time. My leadership skills, I think, showed up in Maseno quite a bit. I didn't expect it to happen as early. I got into the first team when I was my last term in Form 1. By the fourth form, I was both coach and captain as well. So that set me up for a good career.
No sooner had he proved himself than the clubs came calling, and wherever he went, he left a mark.
Mamba was the first one to have a lot of mirrors. I came into Impala later on after it had collapsed, and we actually rose it. We actually helped it rise. There was an influx of players from Western Kenya. There was about 6 of us that came into the team then, 2 years in a row. Then Impala was playing the second division, which is Eric Shali. In 95. In 96 we qualified to play in the Kenya Cup. I got thoroughly beaten in most games, but still managed to survive. 97 we started showing signs of a good team. 98 we started dominating in aspects of the game. By 99 we were champions. Through to 2001 when I left. I became captain of Impala in 98 season. And then went on to Nondis in 2001 after I thought we'd won everything in Impala by then. The team had become very, very strong. So looking for new challenges, Nondis was my natural choice.
The former backer thus proved to be a valuable member who could not miss out in the national team to grace the inaugural Commonwealth Games rugby tournament in 1998 before it became a core sport of the next editions.
I was a very hard worker as a player. Never the best, never the most skillful, never the fastest. I worked hard. I did my job and some more. I tackled, I was very good in my defense, and I worked relentlessly as a player. For me, the work ethic was everything. And I think I learned, the other attributes came along because of that hard work. Most outstanding as a national team. I think the first one that I can remember, or actually it is the first one, is winning the Safari Sevens. Then it was a very competitive tournament in 1997. I think I was then the youngest player in the team. And that was something. We got 18,000 bonus for that, and that was quite some money then. I remember my brother works in Saudi, so I remember he had come over his holidays, and the time he was joking, he said, "Do you have some money I could borrow?" I asked him how much. He was in shock. So when he said 5 Gs, I went into the pocket where I kept the money. I didn't even have a bank account then. I gave it to him. He was quite surprised, and I told him that was the bonus of winning the Safari 7.
The IRB World Series commenced a year later in 1999, and as a member of the Watembezi Pesetters, he could not miss out in the team that caused ripples in the series.
The lack of belief in our teammates, that you're from Kenya, you're not a big playing nation. Just being able to prove guys wrong by putting your best foot forward and playing. There's once we had just come from a trip, I think it was New Zealand, and we went back to England. It was time there was a sevens tournament, and Oscar and I were thrown into the team, and what we taught the team was so much they couldn't comprehend that this was coming out of the lesser people, so to speak. There's a first time we beat New Zealand in Hong Kong. That was 2008, I think, Hong Kong. First time we beat New Zealand. And I couldn't believe how I saw the players that I used to be with, the players that I'm with. I thought, wow, these guys are actually up to it.
There was more to come, with Kenya making her debut in Rugby World Cup in 2001, and what a memorable outing it turned out to be as he scored Kenya's first try.
Scoring the first try for Kenya in a World Cup, I think, that one, my great-grandchildren one day will say, even if I never achieve, even if they achieve better than me. I have my son who's now playing for Maseno, and he keeps saying how much better he'll be than me. So those are the things I have against him. He'll never be, even if he scored 20,000 tries, he'll never be the first Kenyan who ever scored in the World Cup. So, yeah. The only thing he can do is get to the Olympics and score before I do.
Here come Kenya.
The former rugby sevens player went on to grace 3 more World Cups, with the 2009 being his most outstanding, where he steered the team to a historic 3rd finish.
Fiji had dealt us a 71-0 blow in Kuala Lumpur in '98 when I was very young, and that did not go very, very well with me. I'd always wanted to avenge that loss. So it happened, luckily in my lifetime, that we did that, and that was pretty special. I think it's at that point I said, God, I've done my bit, so now I can rest easy knowing that I've lived a full circle. That was extremely special for me.
Benjamin Ayimba had before then gone professional as a player in the United Kingdom with his friend Oscar Osir, and he played for English Division 1 Rugby Union Club Penzance, Cornish Pirates and Red Roof.
I didn't enjoy it at all. I didn't enjoy the cold there. I enjoyed playing. I enjoyed playing a lot because rugby, of course, once you're in the field, it doesn't matter what else. The quality of rugby is much higher, of course, because it's taken more seriously there. It earned me money as well, that I can't dismiss, especially at that time when I needed the money to sort out my young family and stuff. So it gave me a good base and taught me a lot about professional rugby, how it's done out there. building me basically into going to metamorphosizing into the next level of my rugby participation, which is management. Then of course, when I came back, there was opportunity to become coach, and that's why taking up the challenge was much easier.
He came back to settle down as a coach with the girls and various clubs he had played for.
When I got back, the girls needed a coach. No one was willing because there was nothing. And I had some extra time in my hands, so I sorted out the girls too. I'm very, very proud of those girls. I remember telling them about their success in the coming years, and they couldn't see it. But I known what it takes for dedicated. These are girls who sometimes worked from home, came to training without eating. Some of them were very young mothers then. They needed advice on how of their relationships. I basically was a father, a brother, a husband, a boyfriend to all of them.
In 2006, he was given the mantle to take the national men's rugby team, and he did it with gusto and a greater determination that saw the seven-a-side team become one of the core teams of the RB series.
I think I've been more successful as a coach than I was a player. I think as a player I could have done more with better guidance. I was picking and I was doing my own thing as a player. I was fighting too much to try and understand and be the best at the game. But I was a far better coach than I was a player. My sincerity has helped me a lot with the people I've coached. The players I've coached know me as somebody who I will not hesitate to tell you you've done wrong. And it doesn't matter how ugly it is, I'll tell you. So that helped us gain a lot of confidence in each other, player-coach confidence, where somebody would say, when he's not up to date, he'll tell me, Coach, I don't think I'm up to it. Human beings like to be encouraged, they like to be part of anything that they're doing, and they like to be rewarded for whatever it is that they're doing. If those are in place, then players will always give you the best.
It is that spirit that saw Kenya earn enough respect from the elite teams in the world up to date as they proved themselves wherever they went.
The game in itself, I keep telling guys, I had to come out to the ghetto to play the game. Don't bring the game to the ghetto. It doesn't matter where you grew up. It doesn't matter what it is that you did when you were growing up. Just don't bring your bad manners to the game, because people have worked hard.
The straight talker, however, found himself on the wrong books when they stumbled, and he took the bull by its horns, which did not go down well with his employer.
The board stays in the boardroom, and the technical side stays in the field. I keep saying it, and I'll say it again. Mwangimude's reign was the worst for rugby. It brought in personal issues. It stops concentrating on boardroom politics, started getting into the field. And that's because he did not know how to manage either. I don't know what his intentions were for being chairman of the rugby union, but I think he tried too hard to look prominent. And because of that, he was in the news for all the wrong reasons. He introduced the international coaches, which is not bad. And we pay them so much money. Look at the trouble we're in now.
He took the sack, but found solace in his entrepreneurship skills.
I came into a world that I didn't really understand how it worked. So I'm actually taking a course in Strathmore now to enhance my business skills. They've been quite good. I'm learning how to do it better. I got into it, and there's a lot of problems trying to settle. It's just because I didn't know how to do business.
The former coach is the brain behind the successful Masaku Sevens, which has become an annual event you don't want to miss, attracting international teams as well.
Some enthusiasts in Machakos who have always wanted rugby to go in Machakos, so I once visited there, and they said, we want a team. I said, fine, no problem, but don't you think that to put our team on the map we need to have a tournament? And they said, this was 12 weeks before the tournament actually happened, and they said, no, I don't think it can happen. And just thought, why don't you give it a try? Even if it's just 200 people not paying and just standing around the field, that would be good enough. Oh, Lord, did you know, 12 weeks later, 7,000 people, and the crowds have grown exponentially. Now the next year those 20,000 people. Now we're talking of hundreds of thousands of people coming into our channels. We need to change the mindset so they come into the field as well. But so far it's been a success. It's something that had its issues last year, and some of those were man-made issues. But right now it's back on track, and we hope it will grow as a tournament and probably run itself maybe 3-4 years from now.
And that is not all. He was born with a flair of interior design, which has seen him transform not only his home, but his clients' work as well.
Design has been part of me from, I think when I was 10, I used to make bow ties out of leather, the fox leather remnants from a tailor that we stayed close by. That's how I started it. And I remember making it for my little brother Ocheng, and I had one, and always wanting to know how to sew things up, just looking good. And I think I grew up with that mindset. I really like fashion, current or otherwise, but it's something, color really intrigues my mind. Good looking things, they tickle my fancy.
That is a beautiful home to a loving family that has kept him focused all his life, led by his beloved wife, Caroline Waswa.
I always have to introduce her to people. People think she's a different person every time because she changes her hairstyle, she changes completely. So basically my strongest support in my career, in my life, she's been there. Very quiet, but the strongest support system I have. I think I owe a lot to her. She's been very instrumental in who I've become, my grown-up person. As, when I left that support system I had within my siblings, she took over very well.
Being at home where he works has enabled him be there for his children, Brian, Gabriel, Ocheng, and the youngest Hilary, wherever they need him.
My father was a very busy man. He never spent much time with us, and I tried to be different to my sons and my kids. But then, now they're 4. The eldest one is turning 17 in September. Brian is an athlete. He plays football, he plays rugby, he swims, he runs 100 meters. Gabriel is a musician at heart. He likes music a lot. He goes to school just because people have to. And then there is Eli, the last one. He likes to jump around. He's a mess. He makes noise.
And he also makes sure they're well fed, what with his culinary expertise.
I'm a very good cook. I spend a lot of time at home. My mother taught me how to cook. I started cooking at a very tender age as well. So I like to cook a lot.
I could go on and on, but all it takes is for a man like a Benjamin Otieno Ayimba to do all that.
There's always space for a newer person. You can always be the different person positively. You can always be the next big thing in Kenya. It sometimes takes away focus on what they need to do. We have forgotten how to sacrifice. We always have to be paid for whatever it is that we do. And once that attitude is in you, you'll never make it in life.